What's up, everyone, and welcome to Clear Talk. So today, we are going to talk about Mr. Donald J. Trump, and his his road to election 2024. How I think he is doing, the challenges that he clearly has, and what I think, uh, just what I think about it all. What I think about how he is going to shape up in the election. What chance he has, perhaps. So anyway, okay, so um, Mr. Trump, in his, so obviously he has some issues. Um, he clearly, did his thing during the primaries, not being a part of or basically pretending like there wasn't a primary. And I guess take to some degree you could argue there really wasn't. Um, but he completely ignored all of the um, debates, and was doing his own thing during the debates. And I think overall that most certainly helped him. Um, I don't think it would have served him well at all to do them. Um, if if anything, it would have just gave kind of an early appearance to who he really is in those situations. It would have given chance to the other candidates to push him on things that he wasn't, more than likely wasn't really ready to be pushed on. Because I mean, let's be honest, when it comes to Trump, all he's doing really is like, um, it's like he's constantly testing the water, constantly like feeling where the breeze is going. Um, and when he thinks that there's a certain focus on certain things, he will hold on to that until he's proven otherwise. Um, and he'll really drive it home. I mean, even at this late date, he still talks about the election of 2020. It's like that's his, ultimate obsession. And what his feelings about it. Uh, and really driving home that he feels the same thing is going to happen, you know, this time around. He's already doing that. Already, the playbook's already been drawn up on that. But yeah, he basically didn't do the primaries, skipped them, pretending like they didn't exist. And like I said, to some degree, I guess they really kind of didn't. Um, he didn't really have any hard, candidate uh, outside of Haley. He really didn't have, and even she was a far cry. Um, and so now he's the presumptive. Keep that in mind. He's the presumptive uh, Republican candidate, which actually is a funny thing when it comes to in reference to the debate video last week. Is that, funny enough, technically neither, according to their own rules, neither Biden or Trump currently are eligible for those debates. Partially because they had, Trump partially because he still hasn't designated a running mate, but that's kind of like a small point. But the big one is that the fact that they technically are not on any of the ballots for any state. I mean, technically, because they have not had their conventions. They are not technically a part. They are not technically the nominee for each other's respective parties. So therefore, they technically are not even really on the ballot yet in any of these states. Um, I'm sure that they'll look over that though. But that was a big argument that our RFK is currently having. Uh, but anyway, so he's the presumptive nominee, obviously. Will be the nominee. Um, and he has, but he has a big problem, right? He has a whole lot of stuff on his plate. Has a whole lot of his 91 counts, um, uh, and all the trials and stuff. Now at the moment he's getting fairly lucky in a few of them, and they've been pushed back, um, which is helping him out. And then others, like the Georgia case, has got its own problems, which was absolutely ridiculous. Um, Although personally, I don't really feel like it should affect the trial. I think the trial should continue, and that it really, I mean, really doesn't have anything to do with it. Um, but clearly, it looks bad. Um, and yeah, well, not only looks bad, it kind of is bad, pretty much. Um, but he's already been, he's got he's having money problems, of course, because of all the the New York case with Stormy Daniels and stuff. He already had the civil case, which he's out hundreds of millions of dollars there. Truth has had its issues, although I feel like he keeps getting saved there. Um, and then now he's got the criminal case on the Stormy side. Uh, pun intended. But and which has to do with the tax issues, um, and his campaign. Um, and that one's kind of a weak case. I mean, it's. I mean, personally, I feel there's no doubt that he's guilty of it, but it's kind of a hard one to really prove. Um, but it's the other cases like the documents case that is a big issue. That one in my case is kind of like a closed. I mean, it's like an open shut case. He's guilty as all get out. There's crazy amounts of evidence of that you can't deny. But that keeps getting pushed back. Um, so it's like you're throwing up, you're tossing up whether or not he's actually going to be affected at all with those cases when it comes to the actual election and how much it's going to affect it. I talked about in the previous video how my thoughts on whether or not even between the election and when the electorates are certified, if something could potentially even happen there. And I still think it could. I still think that there is a legal case for that, and or not only legal, but even a very big possibility for something like that to happen, and throw the whole thing into a frenzy. Of course, that's assuming that he actually, wins the election. Um, but so him in the election, right? What is his chances? What do I feel like he's? I feel right at this point, he most certainly, up against Biden, has a good chance. Biden has completely, and we will get to a video on him. He has completely just ruined his campaign and his prospects. Just digging a hole so damn deep at this point that I don't see any way of getting out of it. Um, or even the willingness to try. Um, but yes, he but like but it it's like a toss up, right? It's like a 50-50 at this point. Um, his big problem right now, and I think he's scared of, is RFK. And how much RFK could potentially actually, and that will come down to whether or not he can get into these debates and can really show his side. Um, and if he can get in there and debate, personally, I think um, it will wind up hurting Trump more than Biden. Because, in my opinion, RFK is closer to Trump than he is Biden. So I feel like if he really can get seen, really can get, his priorities across and his talking points and all that, um, could potentially grab more Republicans than Democrats. Um, as far as like, especially in the independent realm, independents that are more right leaning versus independents that are more left leaning. Um, so that could really hurt Trump. And I think that's what he's scared of. I think all his advisors have pretty much, said, "Hey, RFK is a threat, um, and we need to dip that." So that's the reason why he keeps targeting him. So yeah, it's a big thing there. Um, what are my thoughts if he actually become president? I feel like, or let's flip the coin. What would happen if he became president versus what he would happen if he didn't become president? Like, imminently, like what would happen? Um, I do believe there is going to be an outrage either way. Um, if he does become, if he does win the election, there will be an outrage from the left. Uh, to what degree that outrage would be, I I'm not completely sure. I don't see it being very relevant, honestly. The left, although has their strong opinions and has certainly the fortitude to you know uh, go against things and do their uh, what rallies or whatever, to not man, the word is completely missing me right now. uh Anyway, they have their ways of showing their um opinions. They historically are not violent, or nominally uh, have any violence. Um, only a very small percentage on the far extreme left even considers violence. Most do not. On the other hand, if focus camera focus. On the other hand, if he loses, why is it not focusing? I'm getting annoyed. Um, if he loses, though, unfortunately, I'm trying to make it focus. I don't understand why it's not focusing. If he loses, unfortunately, I feel that there will be an even harsher uh, rebellion from the right, far right particularly, because the far right, although not much larger than the left, uh, uh, or the extreme left, well, they are a little bit, quite a bit, actually larger than the extreme left, but they are more prone to violence. Historically, you can look at it. Um, right wing violence is oftentimes way more, um, not only a degree of violence, but way more prominent. Um, they don't mind getting out their guns and doing their thing. Uh, so that's gonna be the thing. That's gonna be the issue. Initially, um, I think it's gonna be probably stronger if he actually did lose, because he's gonna push that it's, the same thing has happened, that it's already got the playbook going. That if he loses, it's because the election was rigged, and it was rigged against him from the beginning, and all this kind of stuff, and that it's illegitimate, and blah 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 blah. He's already got it. He's already talking about it. So it's uh that's what I think is going to happen initially. If he becomes president, um some of you may have seen the initiative of uh 20, what is it? 25 or whatever, that the right wing has promoted, um and that is scary. It's talking about the things that they, for one, trying to get Trump in there, and then what they want him to do within the first 100 days, is scary. There's, from a complete clearing out and taking over of the uh, executive branch, making doing away with a whole bunch of departments, um, and basically giving more power to the executive branch to outweigh your judicial, uh, and yeah, your other two branches. Um, Trying to make them as irrelevant almost. Uh, giving power to the president way beyond what is way beyond what he should have, or he or she should have. Um, Although we have not had a she yet, I would love to see a she. Um, I personally was pushing for Marianne Williamson. I thought she would have been an absolute great candidate this time around. She was completely just blacklisted and pretended that she didn't exist, and that it's probably worse than having bad publicity is having no publicity at all. And that's unfortunate. But I think she would have been great. Now I am kind of on the side of Jill Stein, so um, I think she's actually pretty good too. She certainly has experience in races, presidential races. But I'm not ignorant to the point that, or like, blind to the point of actually thinking she has a chance at winning. Um, Third party candidates just do not have a chance at winning. RFK might come close, about like Ross Perot back in the '90s, but it's still a very hard. The only thing that really is going good for RFK at the moment is the fact that the the divide in the country is so strong, and the love and hatred of both other candidates are so strong. Okay, the hatred for the two is just as strong, if not stronger, than the love for them. A matter of fact, I would argue that it's way stronger than the love for them. Um, the third party probably does have the best chance right now that it may have ever had. But is it a chance enough? That's another question. Um, but yeah, so do I see um do I see him potentially winning? Yes, I do see him potentially winning. Do would I want him to win? Hell no. I want nothing to do with another Trump presidency and the potential that could happen. The last time um, there was a lot of stuff that he threw out there because he just doesn't have any understanding or uh, the mental fortitude to understand what certain actions could cause. And luckily, the last time there were people in place that helped restrain him. But this time around, it's I feel like it's not going to be that way. This time around, he is going to make sure that he puts people in his place that are yes men, that are emboldened to like that are, um, you know, 100% sycophant to him, and will do whatever he wants to do. And he will be supported and backed by the people that's bringing that 2025 initiative, um, and how they want to completely just revamp our government structure and uh, in order to take away all the rights that they could possibly take away from us as civilians. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. They want to make this country an authoritarian, um, Christian nationalist state, which is the absolute worst thing that could happen to the United States. So, anyways, I have no need or love for Trump and him becoming the next president ever again. Um, so that's what my thoughts are. Yes, he does have a chance. There's a legal battle still to be had. That is, still there, still most certainly looming on him, and causing him a lot of stress. The back and forth, the being in the courtroom, it will only get, I think, potentially worse the closer we get to the election because most certainly, I think there will be a couple more starting before the election. The problem is whether or not they'll finish before the election, or that's the concern for most people is whether they would be finished, and the fact that they would get such a late start, more or less, they will not. But my argument was that that still may not matter as long as they can finish it before electorates are actually certified. That's my argument. And I would like to see that talked more about and like legally, discussed uh, for me personally. But anyway, um, and then yeah, there's RFK too. So who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But that's my feelings on him in the 24 election. Um, Hopefully none of that matters because hopefully he will not win. Um, that's not to say that I would be happy with somebody else winning, but I most certainly would be happy for him not winning. As weird as that might sound. So anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Let me know what you think about this. Do you like Trump? Do you not like Trump? Do you think that there is a problem? What is his biggest like thing against him? Is it um, in his way of becoming president? Is it RFK? Is it the looming trials and potential, convictions on any of them, in any of them, or is it him himself? which one? What do you think? Well, let me know what you think. And do you really think it matters? Do you think in what's your thoughts if he did become? What's your thoughts if he didn't? The backlashes or lack thereof, maybe, I don't know. So anyways, let me know. Thank you very much. So like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And yeah, that's the video for today. Or yeah, so thank you. Later. Clear Talk, JMD. I'm out.